There is nothing outside of yourself that can ever enable you to get better, stronger, richer, or smarter. Everything is within. Everything exists. Seek nothing outside. Miyamoto Musashi. The ancient path of the warrior was never just about the blade. It was a profound internal war against the slow decay of the spirit and the body. Today, we bridge the gap between feudal discipline and the cutting edge of anti-aging science, exploring how ancient survival strategies can rewire our very own cellular blueprint. What if the secret to biological immortality was hidden within the austere rituals of the Bushido Code, specifically through the powerful, self-eating biological mechanism known as autophagy? Esteemed seekers of evolution, welcome to the Longevity Protocol, where we decode the secrets of the ancients through the lens of high-end science and the future of tech. We begin our journey in the misty mountains of 17th century Japan, where the elite class of warriors practiced a form of metabolic discipline that modern science is only starting. This discipline was not merely a mental exercise. It was a physical necessity for survival during long campaigns where food was scarce and mental clarity was the ultimate weapon. The concept of Bushido, the way of the warrior, emphasizes an absolute mastery over the physical self, a principle that aligns perfectly with the modern biohacking goal of longevity. As we peel back the layers of history, we find that the samurai's ability to remain sharp during periods of starvation was a direct result of cellular efficiency and autophagy, derived from the Greek words for self-eating, is the body's natural recycling process, where damaged components are broken down to create new, healthy cellular structures. In 2026, we now understand that this process is essential for reducing biological age and maintaining mitochondrial health, acting as an internal janitor for our complex biological system. For the samurai, this internal cleaning was triggered by long periods of intentional fasting, a practice that forced their bodies to enter a state of deep metabolic repair. By abstaining from calories, these warriors were inadvertently activating specific longevity genes that slowed down the aging process and sharpened their cognitive functions for the upcoming battle. They did not call it molecular research back then, but the results were undeniable. A clarity of mind that felt almost supernatural, a state known as mushin, or the state of no mind was not just a psychological trick, it was the psychological manifestation of a body running on clean, recycled energy rather than external fuel sources. Modern science confirms that during autophagy, the brain clears out toxic proteins like beta amyloid, which are linked to cognitive decline and the loss of mental resilience over time. By mimicking this warrior discipline, we can essentially reboot our biological software, clearing out the cellular debris that accumulates from our modern, sedentary, and overfed lifestyles. But how do we achieve this in a world that never stops eating? The first habit we must master is the precise timing of our nutritional intake, and circadian light timing plays a crucial role here, as our cells have internal clocks that dictate when the recycling process should begin and when it must stop. If we eat late at night, we disrupt the natural biorhythm, preventing the body from entering the deep repair phase that the samurai achieved through their disciplined schedules. Imagine your cells as a highly efficient factory that only performs maintenance when the assembly line is stopped. If you keep adding raw materials, the repairs never happen. The Samurai Code of Bushido demanded that a warrior be ready at all times, which meant keeping the cellular machinery primed and free of unnecessary metabolic clutter. This readiness is what we call biological resilience, the ability of an organism to withstand stress and return to a state of homeostasis with minimal long-term damage. In the next segment, we will dive deeper into the specific nutritional protocols that can trigger this state within hours, rather than days, using AI-driven optimization techniques. We are moving beyond simple fasting into a new era of molecular precision, where every byte of data from our bodies informs our path toward radical life extension. The intersection of ancient wisdom and future tech is where the true longevity protocol lies, waiting for those disciplined enough to follow the code of the warrior. We must ask ourselves, are we the masters of our biology? Or are we slaves to the modern environment that actively promotes cellular decay and premature aging? The answer lies in the two habits that we are about to reveal, habits that will change the way you perceive hunger, energy, and your own mortality. Very soon you will discover the first habit that triggers molecular cleaning. But first, we must understand the biological cost of ancient samurai comfort. Returning to the depths of our cellular protocol, we find that the mouth is the primary gateway to longevity, where the oral microbiome dictates our metabolic health status. Samurai understood that a clean breath was a sign of internal purity, unaware that they were maintaining a microbial balance that prevented systemic inflammation throughout their bodies. Modern molecular research shows that pathogenic bacteria in the mouth can bypass the immune system, entering the bloodstream and triggering a cascade of cellular decay and inflammation. The first habit of our protocol involves the purification of this microbial gateway, using specific light frequencies and botanical extracts to optimize the oral terrain for longevity. By aligning our oral health with our circadian timing, we ensure that the body's defensive mechanisms are active when we are most vulnerable to environmental metabolic toxins. This leads us to the critical concept of metabolic flexibility, the ability to switch seamlessly between burning carbohydrates and utilizing stored fats for sustainable cellular energy production. The samurai were masters of this transition, often training for days with minimal food to force their bodies into a state of nutritional ketosis and heightened awareness. In our modern environment, we have lost this flexibility, becoming dependent on a constant stream of glucose that fuels inflammation and accelerates the process of biological aging. To reclaim this warrior state, we must implement a strategic light timing protocol, exposing our eyes to specific wavelengths that trigger the release of autophagy-inducing hormones. When the light hits our retinas at the correct time, it signals the brain to begin the deep cleaning process within our cells, mimicking the ancient samurai discipline. Imagine reaching a level of mental clarity where every decision is precise and every movement is efficient, a state achieved through the mastery of your own biology. This is the promise of the longevity protocol, not just more years of life, but more life within those years, driven by a body that is self-renewing. We are now entering the phase of molecular optimization, where AI-driven analysis allows us to tailor our fasting windows to our unique genetic and microbial signatures. Every byte of data from our continuous glucose monitors and biosensors becomes a weapon in our fight against the slow, silent encroachment of chronic cellular degeneration. The second habit we are revealing today focuses on the optimization of mitochondrial density, using controlled thermal stress to trigger the birth of new, powerful energy centers. By exposing the body to extreme cold and intense heat, we simulate the harsh conditions of a samurai winter campaign, forcing the cells to adapt and evolve. This hormetic stress is the secret to biological resilience, ensuring that our internal systems remain young and capable of handling the pressures of our modern, high-tech world. As we integrate these ancient survival rituals with our 2026 technology, we create a synergistic effect that amplifies our results and shortens our path to peak performance. We are no longer limited by our ancestors' environment. We are the architects of our own biological destiny, using science to refine the warrior spirit within us. The discipline of the samurai was not a burden, but a liberation from the weaknesses of the flesh, a concept that is central to our modern longevity strategy. By embracing the struggle of autophagy and hormesis, we earn our right to a longer, healthier life, free from the burdens of modern lifestyle-driven metabolic diseases. Our journey into the heart of the Bushido Code has only just begun, as we uncover the final, most powerful secret of the ancient masters of longevity. The transition from physical discipline to molecular mastery is a bridge that few have dared to cross, yet it is the only path to true biological sovereignty. In the moments that follow, I will reveal the precise timing for the ultimate autophagy trigger, a habit that will redefine your relationship with time and health. This is not just about avoiding death. It is about embracing the absolute potential of the human form through the lens of ancient wisdom and future molecular research. We are moving towards a future where the warrior's path is accessible to all who have the discipline to follow the rules of the longevity protocol. Soon, you will learn how to activate your internal recycling system in less than 6 hours, using a technique derived from the secret scrolls of the Koga. This ancient knowledge, once guarded by the elite, is now your weapon in the fight for a longer, more vibrant life in this rapidly evolving world. Stay focused, as the most critical part of this protocol is about to be unveiled, and it requires your absolute attention to master the final step. The secret scrolls of the Koga ninjas reveal a precise combination of specific bitter herbs and prolonged silence, which we now recognize as a primitive method to activate the AMPK pathway, the master metabolic switch that commands the body to stop storing fat and start burning cellular trash for immediate survival energy. This ancient protocol was designed for those who had to remain invisible and lethal, requiring a level of cellular efficiency that modern man can barely comprehend. By integrating these bitter compounds, now identified as powerful polyphenols, into our modern diet, we can mimic the fasted state even while consuming small amounts of nutrients. This is the essence of fasting mimicking, a strategy that allows the warrior to maintain strength while the body performs the deep, regenerative work of autophagy. Modern molecular research has confirmed that certain plant-based molecules can bind to the same cellular receptors as extreme caloric restriction, triggering the exact same longevity. This discovery is a cornerstone of our protocol, allowing us to bypass the psychological stress of starvation while reaping the profound biological benefits of deep repair. However, the Koga scrolls warn that this state of heightened efficiency can only be maintained if the warrior respects the natural cycle of light and dark. This brings us to the second pillar of the first habit, the optimization of the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the master clock of the human biological machine. Without precise light timing, the signals for autophagy become muffled, and the body remains in a state of metabolic confusion, unable to initiate the cleaning process. The samurai avoided this by rising with the sun and retiring when the stars appeared, a simple habit that we must now replicate using technology. In 2026, we use smart lenses and biological sensors to ensure that our eyes receive the exact wavelengths needed to anchor our circadian rhythms to This technological intervention restores the ancestral connection to the planet's cycles, allowing our cells to function with the same precision as a master-crafted katana. Every cell in your body is waiting for the signal to begin its work. When we provide that signal, the process of cellular regeneration becomes inevitable. But the warrior's path does not end with nutritional timing. It requires a systematic exposure to external stressors that challenge the very core of our existence. This is where we transition to the second habit of the longevity protocol, the controlled application of thermal stress to boost mitochondrial density and mental. Thermal stress, whether through extreme cold or intense heat, forces the mitochondria to become more efficient, weeding out the weak and promoting the strong. The ancient masters practiced misogi, a ritual of purification under icy waterfalls, a habit that we now understand triggers the release of cold shock proteins. These proteins act as molecular chaperones, repairing damaged structures and protecting the brain from the neurodegenerative effects of aging and chronic environmental stress. Imagine your body as a blade being tempered in the fire and then plunged into the ice. This process creates a resilience that is unbreakable. In our modern lives, we have become soft, living in temperature-controlled environments that allow our mitochondria to become lazy and inefficient over the decades. By reintroducing these environmental challenges, we wake up our dormant biological systems, forcing them to adapt and evolve into a more powerful form. This is not about suffering, it is about intentional evolution, using the tools of the past to forge a body that can thrive in the future. As we master these two habits, nutritional precision and thermal stress, we begin to see a radical shift in our biological age markers and mental clarity. You will find that your energy levels remain stable throughout the day, and your mind stays sharp even under the most intense professional and personal pressures. The samurai call this state of unwavering focus Zanshin, a lingering awareness that allows one to perceive threats before they even manifest in reality. This is the ultimate goal of the longevity protocol, to reach a state where your biology is no longer a limitation, but a powerful instrument. In the final blocks of our journey, I will reveal the precise schedule for combining these habits to maximize your cellular regeneration in record time. Soon, you will have the complete blueprint for your own personal evolution. But first, we must address the hidden danger of over-optimization. The pursuit of perfection is a double-edged sword. Even the most powerful biological protocols can turn against the host if the balance of hormesis is not carefully maintained. Over-optimization leads to biological fragility, a state where the body becomes so shielded from external stressors that its natural defense mechanisms begin to atrophy and fail. The samurai knew that true strength came from a state of dynamic equilibrium, never leaning too far into comfort nor too deep into the exhaustion of constant training. This balance is governed by the mTOR and autophagy pathways, a molecular seesaw that dictates whether your cells are in a state of growth or internal cleaning. If we keep mTOR permanently activated through constant eating, we block the cleaning process, leading to the accumulation of cellular waste and the acceleration of aging. Conversely, excessive fasting can lead to muscle wasting and a weakened constitution, a mistake the ancient warriors avoided by feasting strategically after their long campaigns. To master this balance, we look to the second half of our thermal protocol, the application of intense heat to trigger the production of heat shock proteins. As the ambient heat increases, your body activates a sophisticated defense mechanism, synthesizing specific proteins that serve as biological armor against the potential damage of thermal stress. Heat shock proteins act as a cellular search and repair team, identifying misfolded proteins and ensuring they are refolded correctly or sent directly to the cellular recycling bin for disposal. This process is essential for cardiovascular health and brain function, mimicking the traditional Japanese practice of sento, where the community gathered for communal hot bathing and relaxation. By combining extreme heat with our earlier cold exposure techniques, we create a vascular pump that effectively flushes toxins from the tissues and oxygenates the deep, vital organs. This thermal cycling is a cornerstone of the longevity protocol, a modern adaptation of the tempering process used to create the world's most resilient and sharpest blades. As we refine our physical shell, we must also focus on the molecular level, specifically the role of sirtuins, the longevity genes that require NAD+ to function properly. NAD+ is the fuel for our cellular repair engines, but its levels naturally decline as we age, leading to a breakdown in communication between our genes and... To prevent this, the samurai-inspired protocol includes the strategic consumption of precursors found in specific ancient ferments and modern molecularly purified longevity supplements for maximum biological impact. These precursors act as a spark for the sirtuin genes, allowing them to perform their duty of protecting the genome from the accumulated damage of time. And imagine your DNA as a library of ancient scrolls. Without regular maintenance, the ink fades and the pages crumble, leading to the loss of vital genetic information. By maintaining high NAD+ levels, we ensure that the librarians of our cells can keep the records clean and accessible for decades beyond our natural expected lifespan. This is the true meaning of cellular regeneration, not just replacing what is lost, but preserving the integrity of the original design through molecular precision and focus. The intersection of these habits, thermal stress, nutritional timing, and molecular support, creates a powerful synergy that pushes the boundaries of human potential and radical life extension efforts. Every day you follow this protocol, you are building a biological fortress that is increasingly resistant to the diseases of civilization and the ravages of time itself. But the warrior knows that physical health is only half the battle. The mind must be equally tempered through the practice of mental resilience and deep concentration. Digital detoxing, the intentional disconnection from the information storm that modern technology imposes on our ancient neural architecture, is our next critical step in this protocol. By clearing the digital noise, we allow the brain to return to a state of deep focus, where true healing and biological optimization can take place undisturbed. This mental clarity is what allowed the samurai to move with such lethal grace, even when surrounded by the chaos of a brutal, unforgiving, and bloody battlefield. In 2026, our battlefield is the constant stream of notifications and dopamine loops that threaten to hijack our biological potential and shorten our collective human focus. We will now explore the specific brain hacking techniques used by elite protocols to protect the mind from cognitive fragmentation and premature neurological decay in this era. Very soon, I will reveal how to synchronize your heart rate variability with your breathing to unlock a hidden reservoir of internal energy and primal warrior power. This synchronization is the final piece of the warrior's puzzle, but before we reveal it, we must understand the danger of the hidden biological clock within us. The internal biological clock we speak of is not just a metaphor. It is a physical reality governed by the cyclical release of cortisol and melatonin every single day. When this clock is synchronized through precise light timing and disciplined breathing, the body enters a state of deep resonance where cellular repair is significantly accelerated and enhanced. This resonance is measured by heart rate variability, the micro-adjustments between heartbeats that signal whether your nervous system is resilient or brittle under the pressure of life. A high variability indicates a warrior's heart, capable of adapting to sudden changes without triggering the catastrophic inflammatory responses that lead to chronic disease and premature aging. To train this, we implement the second habit of the protocol, the synchronization of our internal rhythms through controlled hypoxic breathing and the specific timing of movement. Hypoxic training, or breathing in a state of low oxygen, forces the body to optimize its red blood cell count and increase the efficiency of every single mitochondria. This is the biological equivalent of sharpening a blade. The less oxygen the cells require to function, the more energy is available for the complex work of regeneration. As the samurai climbed the steep mountains of Japan, they practiced these specific breathing patterns to maintain their endurance and focus in the face of brutal environmental challenges. This specific expansion of the lungs and the entire vascular network ensures that every single vital organ receives a massive surge of life-giving oxygen for deep cellular repair. This vascular expansion is crucial for maintaining the health of the brain and the heart, the two pillars of longevity that are most vulnerable to the aging process. Imagine your circulatory system as a network of ancient irrigation canals. When the water flows freely and deeply, the entire landscape of your biology remains lush and vibrant. But when the flow is restricted by the debris of modern living, the cells begin to wither, leading to the gradual loss of function and the onset of decay. Our protocol ensures that these canals remain clear through a combination of thermal stress, nutritional precision, and the master habit of focused, rhythmic, and controlled biological breathing. Very soon, you will discover how to integrate these practices into your daily routine without spending hours in the lab, using our streamlined and highly efficient warrior schedule. We are moving beyond theory into the practical application of the longevity protocol, where every minute spent in discipline yields hours of additional life in the years ahead. The first habit of the warrior schedule begins at the moment of waking, when the light first touches your eyes and signals the start of the metabolic day. Before any calories are consumed, the warrior performs a ritual of light exposure and hydration, priming the oral microbiome for the day's intake and preparing the cellular machinery. This morning window is the most critical time for establishing the circadian rhythm that will eventually trigger the deep autophagy phase later in the dark of the night. If you skip this step, your cells remain in a state of twilight confusion, unable to distinguish between the time for growth and the time for deep repair. Contemporary metabolic science confirms that the specific window in which we consume our nutrients is just as vital as the quality of the high-performance compounds we ingest daily. Modern research on time-restricted feeding confirms that the timing of the first and last meal is far more important than the total number of calories consumed each day. By compressing the feeding window, we allow the body to spend more time in the fasted state, where the longevity genes can perform their essential duties of genome protection. This leads us to the critical role of sirtuins and NAD+, the molecular messengers that dictate whether your cells will fight to survive or surrender to the aging process. As we supplement these pathways with the precursors we discussed earlier, we provide the raw materials needed to maintain the integrity of our biological information across the decades. Imagine a library where every book is being constantly rewritten and updated. This is the reality of your DNA under the influence of the high-performance longevity protocol today. The warrior's path is one of constant maintenance and refinement, a never-ending quest to improve the quality of the biological vessel that carries the spirit through this life. In the next segment, we will delve into the secret of the second habit, focusing on the precise application of thermal stress to trigger radical cellular renewal today. You will learn the exact temperatures and durations needed to maximize the release of longevity proteins without causing undue stress or damage to your delicate internal biological systems. Next, I will reveal how to perfectly combine fire and ice to achieve the ultimate metabolic reset and unlock the hidden power within your very own mitochondria today. We now enter the forge of biological resilience, where the extreme heat of the sauna and the piercing cold of the ice bath collide to reshape our molecular structure. This thermal contrast is not a modern luxury, but a restoration of the harsh environmental variables that our ancestors faced daily during their survival in the wild mountains. When we expose the body to intense heat, we activate the heat shock response, a cellular mechanism that identifies and repairs the misfolded proteins that accumulate with biological age. These molecular guardians ensure that our cellular machinery remains operational and efficient, preventing the structural breakdown that leads to the visible and internal signs of rapid physical decay. Imagine your cells as a complex clockwork mechanism. Heat shock proteins are the master horologists who clean the gears and ensure every tick remains precise throughout your long life. The transition from the heat directly into the cold triggers a massive release of norepinephrine, a neurotransmitter that dramatically improves focus and provides a profound sense of mental. This sudden temperature shift also stimulates the conversion of white adipose tissue into metabolically active brown fat, which burns significant energy to maintain our core body temperature. For the samurai, this practice of thermal conditioning was essential for maintaining their legendary endurance and mental fortitude during long winter campaigns in the rugged and unforgiving terrain. In 2026, we utilize advanced biosensors to track our thermal thresholds, ensuring that we achieve the maximum hormetic benefit without crossing the line into dangerous and counterproductive stress. By monitoring our heart rate and internal temperature in real time, we can tailor each session to our unique biological capacity, optimizing the release of longevity-boosting and protective proteins. This precision allows us to harness the power of environmental stress to forge a body that is significantly more resilient to the challenges of our modern high-tech world. As we master the art of thermal cycling, we begin to notice a profound shift in our metabolic health, with improved insulin sensitivity and a reduction in systemic inflammation. The combination of heat and cold acts as a vascular pump, flushing out metabolic waste from the deep tissues and delivering a fresh supply of oxygenated blood. This internal cleaning is a vital component of the longevity protocol, ensuring that our biological systems remain young and vibrant even as the calendar years continue to pass. We must also consider the role of mitochondrial health in this process, as these energy centers are the primary targets of the hormetic signals generated by thermal stress. By forcing our mitochondria to adapt to extreme temperatures, we trigger mitochondrial biogenesis, the creation of new and more efficient power plants within every single cell in our. This increase in cellular energy capacity is the foundation of the warrior's endurance, allowing us to maintain peak performance even under the most intense professional and personal pressures. The synergy between our nutritional timing and thermal protocols creates a powerful biological environment that actively resists the slow, silent encroachment of age-related cognitive and physical decline. Every session in the heat and cold is a ritual of purification, a modern interpretation of the ancient samurai spirit that sought perfection through the mastery of the self. As we continue our journey, we move towards the integration of these habits into a seamless lifestyle, where biological optimization becomes as natural as the very act of. The ultimate goal is to reach a state of biological sovereignty, where you are no longer a victim of your environment, but the conscious architect of your own. In the segments that follow, I will reveal the precise protocols for integrating specialized light therapy and targeted supplementation to further enhance your cellular regeneration and mental clarity. We are approaching the apex of the longevity protocol, where all the individual components merge into a single, unified strategy for radical life extension and peak human performance. But first, we must address the critical importance of deep sleep and the specific neural mechanisms that allow the brain to perform its final maintenance phase each night. Without quality rest, the benefits of autophagy and thermal stress are severely compromised, leaving the body in a state of chronic repair deficit and increasing our biological age. We will explore the cutting-edge sleep hacking techniques used by elite warriors and scientists to maximize the restorative power of every minute spent in the dark and quiet night. This final step is the anchor of the warrior's schedule, ensuring that all the hard work performed during the day is fully integrated into our cellular and mental architecture. Stay with me, as the most profound revelation regarding the synchronization of your biological rhythms is about to be unveiled, for the benefit of your long-term health, and very soon you will learn the secret of the warrior's sleep protocol. But first, consider the hidden cost of the blue light that surrounds us in the modern. The modern environment is a digital minefield of blue light that suppresses our natural melatonin production and disrupts the ancient rhythms that govern our internal cellular cleaning phase. To protect our biological potential, we must master the dark, utilizing specialized optics and environmental controls to signal the brain that it is time for the final repair. Melatonin is not just a sleep hormone. It is a potent antioxidant that specifically targets the mitochondria, protecting them from oxidative stress during the deep hours of rest. The lymphatic system, the brain's unique waste management network, only becomes fully active during deep sleep, flushing out the metabolic byproducts that accumulate throughout our highly active day. By aligning our sleep environment with the warrior's code of discipline, we ensure that every hour spent in the dark yields maximum regenerative benefits for our cognitive health. The samurai emphasized the importance of a clear mind before rest, a practice we now replicate using neural feedback loops and acoustic pacing to induce deep restorative states. Modern biohacking tools allow us to monitor our sleep architecture in real time, identifying the precise moments when autophagy is at its peak and optimizing our nightly biological recovery. Temperature control is another critical variable. By lowering the ambient temperature, we mimic the cool night air of the Japanese mountains, signaling the body to enter deep dormancy. This thermal regulation ensures that our core temperature remains stable, preventing the midnight awakenings that interrupt the critical phases of cellular repair and memory consolidation in our brain. As we refine our sleep protocol, we move closer to the ultimate goal of the warrior, a body and mind that are fully recharged and ready for any challenge. Next, we will explore the precise interaction between our oral microbiome and our nighttime detoxification processes, uncovering the hidden connection that modern science is only now beginning to understand. The mouth remains the sentinel of our health even while we sleep, as the bacterial composition of our saliva directly influences the inflammatory markers within our entire bloodstream. By optimizing our oral terrain before bed, we prevent the translocation of harmful microbes that could otherwise disrupt our internal repair systems and accelerate the aging of our tissues. This level of molecular hygiene is a modern adaptation of the samurai's ritual purification, ensuring that the vessel of the spirit remains untainted by the pathogens of decay. We utilize specific bioactive rinses and light frequencies to sterilize the oral cavity, creating a protective barrier that lasts throughout the entire night for maximum cellular regeneration potential. Imagine waking up with a sense of vitality that starts at the molecular level, a feeling of purity that is the direct result of your disciplined nightly biological rituals. This is the essence of the longevity protocol, the relentless pursuit of excellence in every facet of our biology, from the largest organs to the smallest microscopic microbial communities. As we integrate these practices, we begin to see a transformation in our biological age markers, with skin elasticity and cognitive speed returning to the levels of our youth. The warrior does not fear age. They manage it with the same precision and focus that they use to master the blade, turning time itself into a strategic advantage. In the upcoming blocks, we will reveal the final secret of the Bushido Code, a practice of deep meditation that rewires the brain for extreme longevity and power. This neural restructuring is the ultimate weapon in our fight against cognitive fragmentation, ensuring that our minds remain sharp and focused well into our second century of life. Stay tuned as we unveil the meditation protocols of the ancient masters. But first, learn how to optimize your environment for the perfect night of deep cellular restoration. Environmental optimization involves the precise control of noise, air quality, and light, creating a sanctuary where the body can perform its most complex and vital biological maintenance tasks undisturbed. We use HEPA-filtered air and sound-canceling technologies to eliminate the modern pollutants that threaten our sleep quality and diminish the overall effectiveness of our nightly cellular repair processes. This sanctuary is our techno-temple, a space where the laws of nature and the tools of the future merge to create the ideal conditions for radical life extension efforts. By respecting these boundaries, we allow our internal biological systems to reach their maximum potential, ensuring that we wake up as a more evolved version of our previous selves. Next, you will discover the exact neural frequencies needed to trigger immediate deep sleep, but first consider the impact of the hidden electromagnetic fields that surround us daily. The Code of Bushido is not just a philosophy for battle, but a biological roadmap for cellular mastery through the ancient power of autophagy. By embracing the first habit, the warrior's fast, we trigger the internal cleansing process that removes damaged proteins and rejuvenates our very core. Self-discipline is the ultimate weapon. When the body is deprived of external fuel, it begins to consume its own weaknesses to become stronger. The second habit, the trial of steel, forces the cells to adapt through high-intensity stress, mirroring the rigorous training of the legendary elite warriors. True biohacking is the modern application of Bushido, where honor is found in the relentless pursuit of biological perfection and mental clarity. To live by the code is to treat your body as a sacred temple that must be regularly purged of impurities through these two essential habits. When you master the art of autophagy, you are not just surviving, you are evolving into a superior version of yourself, a modern-day warrior. The intersection of ancient wisdom and modern science reveals that the secrets of longevity were written in the scrolls of the past long ago. A samurai knows that the greatest enemy is the comfort that leads to decay. Choose the path of resistance to unlock your hidden potential. These habits are your armor against the modern world's toxicity, providing you with the resilience needed to face any challenge with honor. Your cellular destiny is in your hands. Adopt the code, trigger the fire of autophagy, and let your spirit burn brighter than ever before. This is more than biology. This is the way of the warrior. This is the cellular Bushido that will redefine your life and longevity. By combining intermittent fasting with high-intensity trials, you activate a survival mechanism that has been dormant for far too long. We are at the dawn of a new era where we no longer fear aging, but command our biology to serve our higher purpose and mission. Before we conclude this epic journey, remember, your body is your blade. Keep it sharp, keep it clean, and never let it rust. The path of the Samurai Autophagy is available to anyone who has the courage to endure and the discipline to remain consistent. Join our community of modern warriors. Subscribe now and hit the bell to never miss a lesson in biological self-mastery and honor. Your support allows us to continue exploring the deep connections between ancient wisdom and the cutting edge of biohacking science. Leave a comment with the word Bushido if you are ready to start your first warrior's fast and reclaim your cellular health. We are building a future where vitality is the standard and aging is a challenge we overcome with discipline and secret knowledge. The code is clear. The habits are proven. The choice to become more than human is now yours to make. Walk the path. Thank you for watching the Samurai Code of Bushido, the Cellular Code. May your autophagy burn bright and your spirit stay strong.